Hi guys, welcome back to another episode, a solo episode where we'll go through Donald Trump's RNC speech. But before that, yes, I know, Luigi and I are reading with bated breaths the news coming out of the Democratic camp. Apparently, in a strange twist of fate, it's not Bernie, but Nancy and Chuck that have seen the light being that Biden can't carry on like this, and are pulling out all the stops behind the scenes to get him out. They've opened the floodgates. There's a full-on media frenzy going on at the moment. We've had all sorts of news. Biden's family starts discussing his possible exit plan. Top Dems now believe Biden will exit. Biden continues to resist Democratic calls to end the election campaign. Pressure mounts on Biden as tally of Democrats urging withdrawal passes 30. Biden's been facing a barrage of elected representatives calling for him to drop out. In what one senior aide described as they are Julius Caesaring this man, he said, pulling the hair out of his head and screaming widely. At this point, the polls are showing 2/3 of Democrats want him out, so it's not just the Don, it's not just the insiders, but 2/3 of Democratic voters want Biden out. Now, do I believe that Kamala will be as pro-labor as Biden? I don't know. I sincerely doubt it. But frankly, I just don't believe Biden can win this election. He can't even deliver a speech anymore. He got humiliated in the debate. Even if these things count a little, in a tight election like this one, they count enough for him to lose the election. So with all due respect to Bernard, protector of the realm, I don't think Biden's policies are even relevant because I just don't think he can win. So in my estimation, what's going on now, after all this news keep coming out, after the full-on media frenzy has been unleashed, in my estimation, I think things are leaning towards Biden pulling out, but it's still very close, extremely close. In fact, it's probably 50-50. We'll know clearly by the end of next week, I think. It's important to know that they cannot force him out. They can guarantee that he won't win the election, obviously, by giving him no money, pulling out the donor money. And yes, technically, the delegates can vote for whoever they want, but unless he actually drops out, I doubt they'll vote for anyone but him. So in the end, the decision rests with him. And I think one of the reasons he hasn't pulled the trigger yet is that, as Luigi explained last time, Kamala, although doing marginally better than Biden, is still behind Trump in most polls in most swing states. Oh, and there's been a new poll after the attempted assassination, which found no major shift in voter sentiment. And I have to say, I find that surprisingly wise. In fact, I saw a poll which showed about 20-something% blamed the shooter and about 20-something% blamed Trump himself for the shooting. Sad but true. However, he's still ahead as he was before the assassination attempt. Kamala ahead of Biden, below Trump. The thing is, to me, as I already said, Biden has no chance. I don't think Biden has a chance to improve his poll ratings even an iota at this point. Whereas Kamala, who is still relatively less known compared to Biden and Trump, has a chance. That's it. That's the argument. Why not someone else apart from Kamala who is more charismatic and polls better? Because at this point, we're too far in the whole process to have the political flexibility to appoint someone else without the Democratic Party descending into full-blown civil war. Anything other than Kamala, I think, is wishful thinking. Who could Kamala choose as a VP? There's a lot. There's so many to choose. There's Gretchen Whitmer, J.B. Pritzker, Shapiro. Any one of those from the swing states would be a good pick. Best of luck now to the Republicans.
Of the United States, enough was enough, and I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule. Wow.
First, we're going to do the VP speech, J.D. Vance. Well, the main message I got out of it was the underlying xenophobia, very sort of insular, very parochial. He specifically wanted to point out, the saying, America is an idea. No, he kept coming back to it. It's actually a nation, and we have to preserve the character of our nation by making sure newcomers come on our terms. Then he started talking about his wife, who is of Indian heritage, and her Indian family, and how he approves of them here, because I guess they came on his terms. And to be honest with you, this shit is just weird. These people are weird. They are also unbelievably funny when they try to be pro-worker. The pro-worker party, whose Supreme Court justices vote dogmatically against worker rights, whose elected representatives institute right to work laws which devastate unions, and whose supreme leader is a literal billionaire who was born in a tower with a golden escalator. You couldn't make this shit up. Vance waxing lyrical about how we need leaders not beholden to rich guys while swallowing Peter Thiel's dick whole. Very inspiring stuff. What can I say? He's more charismatic than DeSantis. Another fucking weirdo. Veep done. Now to the main event. Drum roll, please. Well, he started off by recounting the events of his almost assassination, very somber, very dignified. Then he called on the Democrats to stop weaponizing the justice system and labeling him the enemy of democracy, even though he literally refused to accept the outcome of an election he lost and commandeered his army of troglodytes to storm the Capitol and stop the transfer of power, i.e. the certification of the election results. And by the way, does anybody have any doubt that if he loses this one, he'll refuse to accept the results? That's why this fucking guy shouldn't be allowed to run in elections. Fuck me, guys, this isn't rocket science. Anyway, then he stated that...
And by the way, Wisconsin, we are spending over $250 million here creating jobs and other economic development all over the place. So I hope you will remember this in November and give us your vote. I am trying to buy your vote. I'll be honest about that.
Nice, classic Trump. Following that, we had a little bit of foreign policy. He talked about all the wars happening around the world. I wasn't exactly convinced why throwing an idiot into the mix is going to help with this. Then domestic policy. Basically, drill, baby, drill.
Drill, baby, drill.
This will presumably solve everything, not very detailed oriented. And
we gave you the largest tax cut.
Tax cuts, of course, tax cuts. He'll do more of that. If anybody remembers, that was the sole, let's call it, achievement of his last administration. And what an achievement, doubled the national debt.
I brought taxes way down, way down. And yet we took in more revenues the following year than we did when the tax rate was much higher. Most people said, how did you do that? Because
No, nobody said that. You did not take in more revenue, you fucking bullshitter. You doubled the fucking debt. That's what you did, so that the Democrats feel even more squeamish next time about doing anything. Then what have we got? Oh yes, he will fix the border by drumroll finishing the wall.
I will end the illegal immigration crisis by closing our border and finishing the wall, most of which I've already built.
Most of which he's already done, not all, most. I presume that's how he handles his real estate business as well.
I will end every single international crisis that the current administration has created.
Again, no details given. Then he starts rambling about fucking Iran once again. This fucking obsession with Republicans and Iran is borderline creepy at this point. Get a fucking room, you too. Afterwards, he starts reminiscing about the good old times when he was president and we had a fucking pandemic. That was great. Today, our cities are flooded with illegal aliens, and they're taking all of our jobs, people. In fact, 107% of the jobs created.
107% of those jobs
are taken by the aliens, folks. They actually took more jobs than there were jobs. Nobody has seen anything like it before. My brain is melting out of my ear. Look, when your dear leader's only fucking solution to the problems the country faces is to take it out on the perceived outsiders, he's not giving you any actual solutions at all. All he's doing is dividing and conquering.
And by the way, the news reports, look at all of those big networks, look at them, they're all here. But every one of them has said this could be the most organized, best run, and most enthusiastic convention of either party that they've ever seen. Every single one.
No, Donnie, they have not.
And send me back to our beautiful White House just a few short months from now. We're talking about just months. It can't come fast enough. We have to.
Oof, you could almost hear his pending legal cases on that one. Following that, we get some elaboration on the drill baby drill strategy. I mean, he already said Biden was late to the party.
But by doing that, we will lead a large-scale decline in prices. Prices will start to come down. Energy raised it. They took our energy policies and destroyed them. Then they immediately went back to them, but by that time, so much was lost.
But now he's here, so what exactly is he gonna do then, since fucking Biden is already doing it?
And by the way, they want to raise your taxes 4 times, think of it. And all my life, I grew up watching politicians. I always loved politics, I guess. I was on the other side. I'd watch and they were always talking about, we will give you a tax cut. We will give you a tax cut. My whole life, I was watching, I will give you a tax cut, right, Mr. Congressman? That's all they talked about. This is the only administration that said, we're going to raise your taxes by 4 times what you're paying now, and people are supposed to vote for them? I've never heard it.
You gave them corporate tax cuts, Donnie. Do you think people get paid in corporates, you fucking imbecile? Do you? Tax the rich, done.
And next, we will end the ridiculous and actually incredible waste of taxpayer dollars that is fueling the inflation crisis. They spent trillions of dollars on things having to do with the Green New Scam. It's a scam.
The Green New Scam, nice. Much better to rely on the kingdom of fucking Saudi Arabia for your energy needs than on those dodgy windmills and solar panels. Scam, I say.
And I will end the electric vehicle mandate on day 1.
I guess that's why Elon is donating now.
And if they don't agree with us, we'll put a tariff of approximately 100 to 200% on each car, and they will be unsellable in the United States.
Yeah, Biden already did that.
But I don't even talk about it because of COVID. I don't even mention it, frankly, because of what happened with the China virus.
Okay, I think everyone has heard enough of his, I'll kindly call it a speech. Not much different than any of his other speeches. Don't think I've ever seen someone lie so much before. That, I think, is what his greatest enemies can agree on. Some other highlights.
On the chart that saved my life, that was the chart that saved my life. I said, look it, I'm so proud of it. I think it's one of the greatest. It was done by the Border Patrol, one of the greatest charts I've ever seen. It showed everything just like that. You know the chart. Oh, there it is. That's pretty good. Wow. Last time I put up that chart, I never really got to look at it. But without that chart, I would not be here today.
You heard it here first, folks. Illegal immigration saved Trump's life.
The greatest invasion in history is taking place right here in our country. They are coming in from every corner of the earth, not just from South America, but from Africa, Asia, the Middle East. They're coming from everywhere. They're coming at levels that we've never seen before. It is an invasion indeed, and this administration does absolutely nothing to stop them. They're coming from prisons. They're coming from jails. They're coming from mental institutions and insane asylums. You know, the press is always on me because I say this. Has anyone seen Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He'd love to have you for dinner. That's insane asylums. They're emptying out their insane asylums. And terrorists are coming in at numbers that we've never seen before. Bad things are going to happen.
The late, great Hannibal Lecter, who now works for ISIS, is pouring through our borders, folks, eating us and terrorizing us. That definitely sounds like the workings of a healthy, functioning mind.
But we become a dumping ground for the rest of the world, which is laughing at us. They think we're stupid.
Yes, Donald, they do think you're stupid.
Hungry, strong country, run by very powerful, tough leaders. Tough guy. Press doesn't like him because he's tough. And he came out recently. They were asking him at an interview, the whole world is exploding. What's happening? What's going on? Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, very tough man.
Yeah, baby. Orban shout out by the big D himself. The League of Great Strong Men is assembling. Wow, wow. Where's the others?
I got along very well. North Korea, Kim Jong-un,
First of all, full credits for pronouncing your buddy's name right.
along very well with him. The press hated when I said that. How could you get along with him? Well, you know, it's nice to get along with somebody who has a lot of nuclear weapons or otherwise, isn't it? See, in the old days, they'd say, that's a wonderful thing. Now they say, how can you possibly do that? But no, I got along with them, and we stopped the missile launches from North Korea. Now North Korea's acting up again, but when we get back, I get along with them. He'd like to see me back, too. I think he misses me, if you want to know the truth.
Anyone else left?
I spoke to the head of the Taliban. You've heard this story. Abdul, still there, still the head of the Taliban. He said, if you keep doing that, you're going to be hit harder than anybody's ever been hit by a country before. And he said, I understand, Your Excellency. He called me Your Excellency. I wonder if he calls the other guy Your Excellency. I doubt it.
Abdul, how could I forget Abdul? Don't do it, Abdul. Yes, Your Excellency. Biden is old and feeble, Your Excellency. So in the spirit of this newfound unity, because he recently survived an assassination attempt, let's end with one of his only good lines of the night, even though he would scarcely return such courtesy. Take it away, Donnie.
Under President Bush, Russia invaded Georgia. Under President Obama, Russia took Crimea. Under the current administration, Russia is after all of Ukraine. Under President Trump, Russia took nothing. For too long, our nation has settled for too little. We settled for too little. We've given everything to other nations, to other people. You've been told to lower your expectations and to accept less for your families. I am here tonight with the opposite message.
A billionaire has managed to convince the people that it's the other nation's fault for their misery and not the fact that he has far too much money and they have far too little. A tale, my friends, as old as time. See you next week. Bye-bye.